Yay! Tech issues and weather issues, but we're back. Welcome to the Chronicles of Lumainvoir Season 2, Episode 4 something?
Yes,
Yes,
I wrote it down. Episode 4.
yes. Excellent. You're writing things.
Yes, because I needed to write the headline.
Oh, true.
Smart.
You could also say Party 2, Episode 2, because technically
Yeah.
we're like,
Oh, yeah,
The
true.
party names are a little bit work in progress, but we'll figure something out because then it'll be easier for you guys and for us to recognize who are no. I was thinking about something along the lines of Almond and the boys, but so this group led you guys left from the crystalline temple of Bithlumen. Your job was to get to the northern capital of Sarngard to find out what's going on in there, because you've Father Grey, who's basically your employer, had heard some rumors about like war and civil problems, insurrections and stuff, and he wants to find out how much of that is really true. In the group we have the church's representative and sort of party leader Almond, normal-looking human-looking male. He's a member of the church, but not a priest, whatever that means. And then we have Rhaega, Caldrayer, almost pronouncing the correct village. A big horned, half-blood Goliath thief, like. Species in the north interbreed for survival, not for aesthetics. So they're a big grey-blue giant with horns and like basically a cross between a tiefling and a Goliath.
And Havok.
We will have pictures up on our Facebook page.
Was it a three-way?
No.
Just roll with it.
Father is half-orc, tiefling, and mother is Goliath.
No.
It's basically half orc, half tiefling, half Goliath, so, you know.
Yes.
So basically he's
Because
one
because
and a half persons.
Yeah, because
Exactly.
Well, I mean, he's
Have you
he's
seen
like
the size of
Yeah,
him?
yeah.
220 tall and like
yes,
200 kilos, so he's like a
Yeah,
fridge.
makes sense.
big
He's a big fridge of a man, of a person.
person. Yeah.
And then we have Jay, who's a gunslinger.
Yeah.
Mystical gunslinger with mystical guns. He does have a picture on the Facebook. And we will...
Oh, you want like OT?
The mini
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
We will have like drawn pictures of all the characters in time.
I could have given the figurine picture because that's pretty close.
Yeah.
Yes.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, but we'll get some pictures for you
Yep.
guys. So, you got a and you have the Dwarven priest with you. Haskuda. Yes.
Haskrura.
Yay, my players listen to me.
Yes, I definitely had that in my notes.
Yes. And you're writing something completely irrelevant. Just now.
Mm-hmm.
Haskuda is a female elven cleric, a
Dwarven.
female dwarven cleric.
Just.
If only you also listen to you. So
I don't listen to me because sometimes that happens when you don't listen to yourselves.
So a female dwarf.
Female dwarven.
Just testing you. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, of course I remember that.
Yes. A cleric of Omnold, a member of the church also.
also a borderline alcoholic, I believe.
Well, priest and spirit.
Happy to all.
I must confess now. The last session we had, I was really wondering why are the dwarves coming up, and then she was telling that it was her brother. Because I was like, wait, what? Because
Yeah, last session you guys left the temple and almost got into a very excellently planned out ambush, which the ambushers got caught anyways, and there was a heavily armored dwarf who appeared to be Haskuda's brother, and then after some chit chat and some very high deception rolls, the dwarves, the dwarven party, the ambushers, went that way.
yeah, it all makes sense now that she's a dwarf.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah.
I mean, you can be siblings not by blood, but by
Yeah,
by
yeah. That was my point.
yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
Exactly. She's an elf who was adopted by dwarves when she was a baby.
Yes.
Or something.
That's exactly what I thought.
Raja is a Leonin who's grown up by humans.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Raja is the fourth member of the party who will join us at a later date.
Oh.
Just as a foreshadowing.
what is fucking interessant for you?
Yeah. So, you guys are in your chariot, going like basically northeast towards the Falleaf Sanctuary, Falleaf Treetops / Sanctuary / like half a dozen other names because Dear Child has many names or something.
Mm-hmm.
So we are on our way to the...
Yes.
Yeah, alright.
I mean, it takes, it has, I mean, you make your way to Falleaf Treetops.
Oh, was it last time? Didn't Rhaega and stay up to right through the night to get
Yes,
to the
that you did,
morning?
yes.
Cool.
That's why he has his little bit of exhaustion.
Which
I
is
don't.
why I'm currently sleeping
Yeah.
again.
Yeah. So you made yourself to Falleaf Treetops, which is it's on the edge of a humongous grove of northern forests like pines and birches and
Evergreen
oaks
trees.
and mostly evergreens, but some like birches and similar trees with the like leaf foliage like starting in like many meters above the ground. So there's like a lot of space on the roots. The Falleaf Treetops itself is a half safe place for anyone. That's why it's called sanctuary. Half tourist attraction because the village or there's no like border between the village of Falleaf Treetops and the forest itself because half of the village is in the treetops of the wood of the wooden area. The woods itself it's many kilometers tall and ends into the cliffside of the crater in the middle of the island. And there's a lot of wildlife in the forests, like blixeros and like fey creatures and such. But because the entire forest is made a big sanctuary for anything, they can just live there. Like a small amount of hunting is allowed, but usually live and let live. Is
So,
my mentality.
Sorry, how did you write the name?
Falleaf Treetops. Yeah. So half of the village is in the treetops. Like there's like huge redwoods style trees which have grown for hundreds and hundreds of years. They're like tens of meters tall and thick, like many meters thick. So they support half of the village in the like up there with like hanging bridges and houses either grown or carved into the woods themselves. And then there's the other half which is on the ground level because not all creatures want to climb. Looking at you, Rhaega. I mean some like and
Well,
Haskura as another example because some creatures don't want to climb up to like and then there's the question of weight because some creatures are too big to be in the
yeah, I think
bridges.
Haskura is okay with climbing, coming from mountainous
Yeah.
area, but they might be a bit too heavy.
yeah.
Rock climbing and tree climbing are different.
Yeah, they are, but it's still climbing.
And
It's
like
still
most of the treetop anyway both in the like treetops and the Falleaf. We could actually call it. There's like two areas. There's the Falleaf on the ground level, and then there's the treetops. So that's why it's like Ankh-Morpork,
Yeah.
but much smaller. Like there's like tens of houses, not hundreds. So it's a small. It's a big town. It's a big village or a small town or something in between. pretty much all of the houses, like there are a few exceptions, are made entirely of wood. Like many of the houses look like people have been either druid crafting or like melding the woods into like housing, or like in the case of the main temple in the center of Falleaf Treetops is like a 30 or 40 meters thick tree which has not been grown tall but wide, and then all of the windows are like all of the walls are like smaller woods, smaller branches just intertwined with each other, and the entire like it looks like druids have just like molded wood material into one insanely big tavern slash temple.
There's actually a way of growing trees that you plant many trees around, and then when they grow, you just bend them and twine them, kind of like that. That's cool.
And then when we have a D&D setting with druidcraft, that's a cantrip. Then like anything's possible. Falleaf Treetops itself has been existing also for hundreds of years, and most of the inhabitants are halflings and gnomes, because those races in my setting like to live in the treetops because they're small and light enough for that. And Falleaf Treetops itself is been run by gnomes and halflings. There are some kobolds in the personnel or the locals, because some of the creatures in the forest are draconic in build and in so it's good to have some like scaly people too.
Are there any goblins?
Very few, but some.
Very cool.
Goblins are like a very, very wandering race. They don't stay in one location that much. It's like in normal D&D settings, you have the halflings with the wanderlust, and in my setting, it's the goblins have the wanderlust. Some goblins have literally, it's impossible for them to stay in one place.
They have like take ADHD and make it into like their wanderlust.
Well, I mean, strictly speaking, I think our goblin here has what's this is like his third spot tonight within the past 15 minutes.
Yep.
So.
And he started his journey from the US because my players got me a limited edition plushie, and that's why I'm bringing him into like places.
There you go.
I don't mean. So you ride with your chariot is just big enough to get past the there's the center, the biggest center building in the Falleaf, which everything, all the other buildings are a concentric circle around it. And your carriage, because it's a very big and bulky thing, it's just barely big enough to get to the center of the village. You do gather some like gazes and people, especially kids on the playing outside, are like, oh, that's a pretty carriage, because like it's decorated. It's made in Lumainvoir, and it's decorated with crystals and a dark wooden frame with metals. So it's very bright and shiny.
I'm also surprised that we haven't been tried to be robbed at the road yet. Like we
Well,
had the ambush, but that's kind of robbery. But
You don't count that?
I don't, because they wanted a certain
A
item.
failed robbery isn't a robbery?
One of the reasons probably is because winter is coming, and like most of the people on the countryside, you saw a lot of like the one farmland you saw which was abandoned for the winter. It was not the only one. You saw many other farmlands just like basically like a tarps up and like all lights out, and then just leave it for the winter, because many people, especially up north, prefer the bigger cities with walls and stuff. The legions of Terra Umbral ran over them once, and it's a safety measure if nothing else. And there was very few people on the way from the temple to Falleaf Treetops, and it's decorated with crystals, so it's very shiny. And you did the few people you met and the people you see in the village do like notice the carriage, because like small creatures do this sort of prism thing with even the smallest light. It's just like.
Yeah. I reckon the road from to Falleaf from Karaboche, was it?
From
Withlumen, yeah, we left from Withlumen, and from Karaboche to Withlumen, for example, that road is a lot more dangerous than
Yeah. And part of it might have been that you were clearly on the business of the church, and and there are like, you do know of cases where people are like, we'll rob the next carriage we'll see. A group of priests, we'll rob the next carriage we see.
So they actually have like, what's the word? Honor in that
Honor
sense?
and some superstition. And like, well, Jade knows that actually you all have your own experience with the fact that some people, because they do know of the secret police, which is Decimae, because people know that there is a secret police, a sort of
the church.
Of the church, they really don't want to mess with it. So some people are just like, just as precaution, don't touch priests. Just no.
Yeah, because they can be black belt kung fu type of police.
It's just like, or like they have robes and then they open the robes and they're like miniguns and stuff. Like, no.
No, priest, they wouldn't have those.
You
should listen to your own stuff. Priests don't have guns.
Oh, what priests might have they might have dudes the size of small elephants who are conveniently sitting in the same carriage.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah.
So, Decimae, what's the name?
Decim, niinku I.
I.
Oh yeah, well, if the guns are divine, then of course.
Yeah. And like some summoning clerics do know summoning spells. They could just like take their holy symbol and angel.
Shit.
Okay.
Or they could, just do a protection from evil and go gate.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yep.
So we arrive.
Yeah. You because you rode all the night, it's basically almost it's like 1-2 o'clock in the day when you arrive to Falleaf Treetops, and you had the plan of, because you do look like you're at the work for the church. And that's both a good and a bad. And you talked about maybe getting mounts or something. And you do have 2 very sturdy-looking horses, but the farther, especially because Rhaega is from Arkenhold, you do know that even in the heights of Sarngard, it's very cold. So at least horses could be changed to something else.
Yeah, and also the terrain starts to get a bit
Uneven, unstable.
So it's gonna be hell riding the carriage.
Yep.
When that happens.
A rocky road.
Yep.
Yeah. like Rice Krispies and
Jesus, that'll be fun. But yeah, Rhaega is gonna turn to Asgard. I suppose we should take lodging here for today. Gather some more supplies for the road ahead.
Yeah, because I mean,
let him get some sleep.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I do trust those horses because they're the temple's horses, but they might get a little bit cold. So let's take something else. I believe they're like elks and what's the bird creature's name? The weird bird creature. I don't know if they're up north though. Anyways.
The one the small one was riding?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember either.
Quentha. Jay would remember the name.
Yeah, Jay would remember. I don't.
Yeah, and well, Quenthas are super rare. They're like this big ostrich-sized riding bird, but they're smart as heck. I don't know if those riches are smart, but Quinflas are very smart and very loyal and a very good pack animal, but they're super rare in Lumainvoir.
2 gold.
So the biggest, the middle temple slash inn slash tavern in the middle of the Falleaf. Like I said, it's a temple. There's the main door, and it's built big enough even for Rhaega. So like you don't have to. Many of the smaller houses, like for the locals, look like you wouldn't even fit in. But there are some houses like the general store and the inn and such, which are specifically built for outsiders, for tourists, and like people's going through, because the road from Fumurvos to Sarngard goes through here, so there's a lot of like outsiders going
Cool.
past.
So I guess we park the carriage somewhere safe and headed inside.
Yeah.
Gather. Should we take the box with us or leave it in the carriage? How has it been so far?
Can we assume I'm awake?
Probably, yeah, because
Would we wake you up
Yeah.
when we arrive?
So yeah, we're not leaving the box here.
How big was the box anyways?
There's people looking
It's
for
like-
boxes, so this would just, it would be a tempting target. We don't want that.
Is the box like a? The box is very unassuming.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Rhaega is gonna take it because Rhaega can carry anything.
Did we leave before Father Gray's group?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, you did.
alright.
You have absolutely no idea what's happening over there.
Yeah. The last thing we knew, they were still researching the.
Yeah.
All right then. Well, Jay wouldn't have anything else to do except go get a drink and wait for the others, because Jay doesn't want to get involved in any of the, or more in the sense that he's been hired as a hired gun.
Yeah.
And he could, in the sense that he knows he could say something, he knows he could advise people, but he makes a point of not doing it.
This is the same tavern you were last time you came here. Episode 8, season 1. And you because
Breathe.
has crashed. Let's try that again. The main door has the symbol of Omnol on top of it, and then there's a sign, like a sort of normal taverns have the sign, but this one has the sort of like like a hinge thing where you can just change the name of the tavern as needed, and probably because winter is coming, but you do see a couple of gnomes like with step ladders and things, just like changing the name of the tavern to the nostalgic Snowdrop. And they have
Snowdrop.
Snowdrop, yeah.
Okay.
Marketing done
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Because like permanent names and like just permanent like short names are a rarity among like halflings and gnomes, because they like stories about things, and they usually like to include the stories about themselves in their names. So they're normal. They might use some sort of like normal like a like a calling name, but then their like family name or their own name might be like.
Long.
And you get to the. You're at the main tavern, and there's a small like garage. What's the word?
Stable.
Stable. Thank you. Not garage yet. Maybe some technology levels later. You get to you park your cart to the stables, and
Grab the box.
Does our card have a reverse camera?
Not yet.
It's a Tesla!
Some people
It's a
should I
Tesla?
say.
Does it run on electricity?
You do know, because you've been in Tempest show,
Mhm.
you do know, like, horseless carriages and stuff.
Yeah.
So, in a couple of years.
Oh.
And then you get inside. There's a gnome woman in grey robes, a priest of unknown, like, seems like the owner of the inn. She looks at you and like looks at him because he's very plain looking. Nods at you like, you again, welcome. And then, yeah, so that's not great if I've ever seen one. Last time you were with a weird like steel man and the human woman. Then no, I'm the judge here. It's just a very big upgrade. Very big.
Nothing much changed.
Good day to you too.
Welcome. I mean, just. Well, you're not with unkind man at this time, so that's definitely an upgrade.
You mean father?
Yeah.
Huh.
You know the Father Grey has this sort of weird effect that some people just like dislike him immediately
Yeah.
for some reason.
No, I get it. That's why Jay has never. It's not that Jay doesn't like Father Grey, or it doesn't care is more appropriate, because yeah, it just doesn't care about Father Grey.
Question: What is a title or moniker that Rhaega would use for priests and priestesses from Galderay? Like a
Probably shaman.
mm.
Yeah. I see where you're coming from. They think they're way too important even for themselves. No, head in to the inn to get my beer.
I'm actually gonna follow you.
Yeah. So
and I didn't care if you heard.
it's basically the inside. It's a pretty much a roundhouse, which is divided into 4 parts. So we have the tavern, like down right, and then we have the temple area down left, and then we have like the sleeping quarters, because when you're in the tavern you want to get to sleeping quarters, and then you have more of a restaurant eating area, and then there's like the middle, like the middle is like grown so that there's like personal space for like kitchens and stuff. But there probably is like a second floor underneath or below. You don't know. Actually, you probably see a couple of ladders. So yeah, you definitely know there's a second floor.
Yeah, well, I'll.
Is the gnome like how old is she about?
She would be somewhere around middle-aged.
Not quite grandmother age.
No, not yet. But you do feel like she's not that old to be a grandma, but there's this sort of, she might have, roll for insight actually.
19 plus, what is my insight? 20.
You do get the feeling that if she is a grandmother, she hasn't been one for very long.
What do they have to drink?
Um,
I'm actually gonna walk up to the bar. Like, who's behind the bar?
There's a young, just barely of like, there's a very young gnome boy who looks like very nervous and very like, he hasn't done this job for very long. He's like fidgety and like, I need to look important because. And you get, because you're very sharp-eyed, you get the feeling that he's related to the older.
Oh, right, okay.
family business.
Rhaega, actually, sorry. Rhaega goes, Holy Mother, we would like to have lodging here for tonight. And,
Yeah, definitely.
And yes, some food, provisions for the road ahead, and change our carriage drivers from horses to something more accustomed to the cold north.
Usually we do rent out. I do have my brother-in-law does have some. Well, he's a sort of a beastmaster, and he does have riding animals which he rents out. And if I'm gonna check your carriage, and then we'll negotiate about the renting price, and you leave your carriage as collateral. Because if I get the feeling you get going up north, then you won't need a carriage up north. So for food for you, and stay for all of you separate rooms.
Rhaega kind of looks towards the others and is like,
Oh, we're at the bar.
Yeah, we're at the bar.
we
just left it for you.
well, in that case, Rhaega goes, well, most likely I have a feeling they are quite solitary.
Let's say 7 gold.
I'll give you 9.
That's a very generous tip. Even
Also, usually not the way you haggle. Just, you know.
Rhaega is not that kind of person.
Yeah. Just for that, I'm gonna get you a little bit of like a better chair for your kind.
Very, very kind of you. May I use a temple altar?
Of course,
Make an
it's
offering?
it's
Thank
open
you.
for anyone.
Rhaega then goes to the altar and just a small ceremony.
Yeah, there's like usually in temple in Omnoldian temples, you have the basically main shrine for Omnold, but you do have like smaller shrines for pretty much all the other gods in the main pantheon.
Yeah.
There's not one for the lady, but that's like normal.
That's okay. Yeah, Rhaega is gonna probably has like a small pouch of like herbs just for this, so you know every small altar has like a small cup of offerings and just sprinkles a little bit, and then on the middle one, the Omnold will put like an incense stick and pray for a while.
Yep. You do feel like the interior, like, because the area has been druid magic, there's a lot of druidic magic around, but especially in the shrine, like the shrine room, you get the feeling of very much holy energy in one place. So, you guys go to the bar. Luckily, they're not there, just you two normal sized creatures, because the small young boy in the, I mean, he's of age, so he can like serve alcohol and stuff. He's not just very.
They have strict alcohol laws here.
He's probably drunk in his fair share, so he knows what he's talks about. And welcome to our awesome tavern. The Fearless Angel. No, wait. Nostalgic Order. Yeah, that's the like the winter name. So what can I get you? We have a couple of different ales. We have.
Just give me an ale.
Yeah, of course. We have mulled wine. We have, I think, we have some meat left, and normal wine, obviously.
Mulled wine does sound like a Christmas drink. Well, winter drink, perhaps.
Yeah. Haskudo was like, so mead, like real mead, and not that swill your like the local skull mead. Yeah, I think it's. And he rummages on the like bottle shelf and takes out the bottle, and you can see Hasgruda, looking at the bottle, is like, yeah, so there are runes here, so it's probably fine. And then he pours you, warms up the base for the mulled wine, because there's obviously a couple of fireplaces. He warms it up and brings you mulled wine and mead and ale.
Yeah.
It is very sort of like very bright and a little bit of fruit, like side taste.
I guess 1 gold piece is gonna cover all of us, so I'm gonna just leave 1 gold piece on the counter.
And he when he goes getting your drink, he just forgot the gold on the counter, and when you got your drinks, he goes to the counter and is like, damn it! And takes the gold and looks around. Luckily, there's not a lot of people. There's a couple of elderly-looking gnomes on the in one side playing some sort of board game, and then there's a couple of other people just mulling around and drinking, as you do in a tavern.
I think that at this point, Rhaega doesn't take only a few minutes. Then comes to the counter, maybe accidentally looming over the young gnome. Good evening. Would you...
Customer?
Goes like this.
You can see
Wait.
yeah, you can hear the cracking in his neck. He's like, hi.
Hello.
What kind of... Are you one of the...
Yeah, he's one of us.
Yes,
oh,
get him
okay. You're not one of them. Okay, I mean, you're one of them, but you're not one of them. Okay, what can I bring you?
I would like...
Reddened. So much reddened.
Rhaega just gives a deep chuckle. I would like some mulled wine and maybe some light meats.
Oh, sure, of course.
Maybe some bread.
Yeah.
Warm bread.
Yeah. And while you talk, there's a small commotion in the tavern main room, and there's a very thick-built gnome man bringing in this sort of preposterously big wooden chair, like someone's just taking like cuts of a big tree and just bashed them together to make this sort of bench that will literally, it looks like it cannot break, period. And it just well, he's a gnome, so he isn't that big, but he still, for a gnome, he's very, very built like a small chair.
Is he having any trouble carrying the chair, despite his stature?
He has a good carrying technique, but it's still kind of big.
When Rhaega notices this, Rhaega just goes over and just picks the chair.
Yeah. It weighs.
Also pick up a gnome at the same time.
Yeah. The gnome
just clinging to the base. Ah!
Yeah, the gnome floats for just some parts of a second. The falls up what the? Oh, I think you're the person who needed the chair.
Yes.
Just.
Thank you kindly.
No problem. Is when Lankalil asks, of course we deliver. Welcome to here, this tavern.
I think Jay would have found a table. Table is all and wave at Rhaega and hey, bring your chair over here.
Sits down.
Yeah. So the chair weighs tens of kilos, and it's just bang, and then you sit down. It's another bang, and people there's one drunk man in the corner. They're coming. No wait, they're not coming. Never mind. No danger. No danger.
I assume we're all sitting at a table.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I can pick a table, I'd like to pick a table from which I can see the temple area.
Yeah.
I want to kind of keep an eye on the priests.
Yeah.
I don't know how many priests there are or what they're wearing, what they look like.
Yeah, so the priests, there are a couple of, there's the one older female priest and a couple of younger priests who are just you recognize them by the robe.
Mm-hmm.
They're like most of them is the gray most of the robe is gray because that's the color of Omnald's priest, but there are some stripes or other accessories which denounces them as the probably the priests of Teavak and Teatar, which are the halfling gnome god twins, or some other. Koludar, there's one who carries the colors of Koludar, who's the goddess of weather, which is a very relevant thing in the upcoming winter for obvious reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they're just like picking up, like cleaning the shrine and just keeping an eye on things. It's a very, like, not much happens. Yeah.
Total blackout. So what was the name? It was
Almond.
Almond. Yeah.
Almond. Yep.
Would Jay have picked up a how would I describe it? In a sense of a priestly priest has a certain stature and a presence that he, as Father Grey did.
Yeah.
And comparing Almond and Father Grey,
Nope.
not at all.
Day and night.
Day and night.
Both have authority and they know it.
Yeah.
But Father Grace has this sort of absolute, I am in touch with God, you will kneel before me. While he's like, I know things.
And yes. That's
I drink and I know things. Wait. Wrong cut. I mean, it's more of a sort of, actually, because we already went to Game of Thrones, it's more of a sort of Littlefinger type deal.
Yeah,
Where he's just,
yeah.
I have contacts and I know everything
That's
more than you.
That's what I was picking, and I just wanted to confirm it. And would Jay pick it up? And
probably.
Yeah, I'd go for that. And once we sit down, I don't mind all of the others being here, and then we just sit down. And so, a guy without the pious posture of a priest, holding the symbols of Omnald and naming himself as part of the church.
Well, I mean, technically, I suppose so. Yeah. But yeah, I don't. Strictly speaking, do the whole clergy thing.
Yeah, I picked that much.
Yeah. But let's just say I'm an associate of the clergy.
I don't know, makes sense to me. Back in my village, we have priests, priestesses, and then we have the others who are part of the holy people, but are not necessarily the priests either.
But if you're not pious enough, you're not on top of the food table, then what's in it for you?
Well, it's let's just say there's a lot of different ongoing. Well, there's a lot of different departments to the church, should I say? So, there's a lot of food chains.
Yeah, and they're not all that holy.
It's all for a good cause, obviously. So
Don't guess the high priests call it. Saying that.
Well,
Actually, where's Haskrud?
She's like,
I wonder if she's sitting with us.
Yeah,
because Jay wouldn't mind going out with his. Because it's.
She's just like, she went into a small sort of like she phased out a little bit because she just concentrated on meat and just like
She just wiping.
yeah, just a little bit phased out.
is it good?
Yeah, I mean it is a little bit too it's not strong enough for me, but it's decent, especially when you consider it. It's from around here. It's yeah, it's fine.
Another question about the DM.
Yeah.
Does Jay know, or would Jay have picked up that Father Gray is part of the Decimate?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yes.
You've seen him carrying around the
The badge.
badge. Yeah.
That's what I remember.
Insignia was
Yeah,
the
yeah,
word.
insignia.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I remembered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he hasn't been flaunting it, but he has.
Yeah.
It's secret.
So, that's the first time for working for Father Gray?
Well, working for is a strong term.
So more like a with?
Working with, yeah, but I wouldn't say first time. I've worked with a lot of people before, so it's you know.
How do you like the guy?
Well, I mean, he's a priest.
Yeah. Well,
So
that's saying a lot. I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, it's you know, there's a time and place for that holier than thou thing, and then there's a time and place for when that's not really what you want. So I think he's a man of great usefulness in the
True.
right place at the right time.
The weird thing is that I still haven't found a situation where anything divine was actually necessary.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Not to say it hasn't been useful, but necessity, being a necessity is a different kind of a thing.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. So you have a basically the rest of the day you can just like talk, like bond with each other, and when you have the like when you've gotten food and drinks and whatnot, then probably time to get to the beastmaster to see what. The priestess Langalil comes around and tells you that probably pretty much like, oh, so I didn't I mean, I've seen your carriage. It's more than enough. You get like you get all riding animals for all of you four, and it's enough. The carriage by itself, because we work for the same guides.
My apologies, Holy Mother. I did not ask for your name.
Langalil.
Lanka.
Langalil.
Langalil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Random names are fun. But yeah, actually, I think now is a decent time for a small break. The characters get some foods and drinks, and then off to see Kninkap the Beastmaster.
All right.
See y'all later. Bye.
Now.
Back in black.
Yes.
I'm in black. I don't know what you're about.
Back in black.
Yeah.
I hit the sand.
So,
Under
welcome
3
back,
seconds.
y'all. I don't know.
No DMC, no DMCA because it's under 3 seconds. That's the rule.
Yeah, that's true. So, the party are where you left them in the main tavern hall of the Falleaf Treetops. You got yourself some foods and drinks and warmth, because a weird thing that you noticed while sitting here, because there's some windows to the outside. No, there's like some of them do have glass, but not all of them, and still it's like very warm and very cozy and very welcoming inside, even though like the winds blow, but they don't get past the shell of the tree for some reason. But it's a very comfortable sort of warm, dark wood color inside, because like you're basically inside a tree.
Does it kind of smell like you know,
It's a
tree sap?
Yeah,
tar
combination
kind
of a tree sap, a fresh tree, and some like a very small tint of tar. And obviously there was a couple of fireplaces. Those are made out of stone, because obviously. But yeah, let's burn it.
Very
Yeah.
cozy.
Yeah,
I don't know. We were supposed to go see the beastmaster
Yeah.
for our horses. Oh, yeah.
riding animals, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. We were supposed to see what we're riding up north from
Yeah.
here. Oh, yeah.
And like what's available basically.
Yeah. So I am needed.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Lead the way,
Well,
clergy people.
downs their cup and gets up.
Yeah, so you go outside and you immediately feel the sort of it wasn't cold outside. It was like it wasn't too cold. It was a little bit of sort of a tinge of winter, and you don't realize how much it hit you until you get outside from the warm, fuzzy tavern inside, and then you go outside and the wind is like, welcome back. Some are slapped a little bit softer than others, but
Some are caressed.
yeah.
Even the wind is scared.
Lady Gossamer is like, welcome.
Welcome back.
Oh my. And you go towards the Lankalil told you that the beastmaster is under the treetops area, on ground level obviously. And you go towards the forest's edge, towards the edge of the treetop, and there's just the smallest hint of snowy water raining down, except when you come to the canopy of the trees, then like nothing comes through. The canopy is so thick, and you feel like you've almost stepped into an area of dark night. There are like torches and things, but like this sort of ever burning torches with basically the continual flame spell. So like nothing burns, but there's still light. Yeah. And yeah.
I'd like to try to figure out where the light is coming from.
I was I was bad in my description. Like there are torches like on their own sconces on the trees, which give you the light.
Right. Okay. I'm gonna look rather suspiciously at the like small torches burning right next to the wooden,
Pagan lights.
very wooden trees that
You-
probably will catch fire very easily.
You go closer and you just like you get closer to the torch and you can just like almost reach it, and you can reach it and touch it, and like you can see the fire just like warbling like a normal firewood, but there's like very little heat, like not nearly enough to burn anything.
Okay. I'm gonna make a mental note of that.
Yeah.
And this is where the beastmaster can
Yeah,
be found,
you could, when you get to the treetops ground level, you see a little bit like towards the woods. There's like signs, and you just barely see a big, strong wooden fence with like warning signs with like big, very crudely drawn horses and horn like. Like they look like stags drawn by a 6-year-old kid who has never seen a stag.
Any animals outside?
No, all of them are in
Okay.
You get to the fence, and it's a very thick, like log fence. Like horses have no, like they don't get through, and like bigger, even big creatures like. Blixeros might have problems. And inside the fence you can see half a dozen different pack animals, a couple of horses with the other one having longer fur, a couple of elks with like already growing their winter furs, actually 3 elks, and then and then there's a small or actually you think it was a pile of like rags and leaves until it starts moving and you realize there's a gnome person in camouflage, followed by a very small basically a baby rhinoceros sort of creature with thick fur, but it's like yay big, so it's a very small creature.
Do we know what they are?
Yeah, the roll for... Actually, I don't think you 3 need to roll for. You do recognize, you have either read or heard about Blixeros, which are... in this size, they are basically a weird version of a woolly rhino, but with some magical possibilities, because Blixeros eat anything, and if they eat like, say, fey creatures or like the Umbrian demons, it will affect their capabilities.
Physiology.
Yeah, and like normal Blixeros are huge creatures, like 2 meters or even bigger, fully grown. But yeah.
Where do they come from?
Mostly the northern parts of the island, or like in colder climates, because the males have a very thick fur and the females have a very thick skin. So they like, you might see a random Blixero in a desert, but it will have a hell of a time because it's too hot for them. So they're very very used to and very like adapted to colder climates.
Rhaega most likely has seen quite a few of them.
Yeah, and you can hear the gnome person with a sort of like a herding stick sort of weapon, just like herding the animals around and like barking at them in a sort of weird naturey language. You might recognize Sylvan if you know the language. And the animals like follow him around, and well, he's a gnome, so he's very small, and the horses and the elks are very big, so they're a little bit like, why should we follow you? Because
Tiny.
yeah.
Yes.
And he just like beastmasters and trains and such.
Rhaega approaches and with a,
You get over the fence?
Yeah. Or I would like to. Can I kind of like look over the fence because I'm not tall enough? Yeah.
You're just tall enough to like look over the fence.
Yes, I'm like Beastmaster.
What? Just a minute. And then he barks a couple of orders in Sylvan, and one of the elks is like, and then gets down, and the Beastmaster says a couple of words in Sylvan and then gives it some food, and then Elk is like, nom 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 nom. And then the Beastmaster turns around and you can see that he's a gnome, but he's like the most scarred and bruised gnome. Like his skin looks like more of like parchment because he's been scarred and he has like punched in dents in his bones,
Yeah.
and he like he's an adult, and he looks like he's been in the business for a long time, and he has this sort of camouflage green brown like suit going on that he could disguise himself as a pile of moss or something. So, who's asking?
We are a group of people on a holy mission from the city of Withlumen, was the
Temple, yeah.
Temple of Withlumen, and we are on our way to Sungard up north, and we talk to...
So you're the people with the carriage.
Yes.
Yeah, basically what we need is we need more mounts. Mounts that are somewhat better suited to, you know, all this. Because, I mean, you look like the kind of guy who knows what they're doing with all these beasts. And,
Yeah.
well...
Been around them a couple of times.
And, yeah, our beasts, you know, the horses, they're not built for this kind of weather.
Nope.
So, what do you have for us?
So, we do have horses are out, so I need to get the old bull out because he's probably the only one that can carry that thing, whatever that is. You guys, does any one of you have any sort of experience riding anything except your... And then he blushes a little bit. Like, well, do you have any riding experience with animals?
I wouldn't call them animals, but
I know you wouldn't. And like you can see half of the teeth are missing, but the grin underneath all those bruises and cuts and wounds is very dirty. So
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so just get around the fence, get inside. I'll try to make you familiar yourself with the animals, and then I'll get the old bull. He's been a little restless, but I think he will do just fine. You might need to butt heads with him a couple of times. Maybe literally, but that's your problem.
Rhaega just like has a small smile come onto her face and like, don't you worry about them.
been there, done that.
You done that. I have horns for a reason, you know.
Yeah. So you go around the fence area. It's fairly big, and there's a couple of trees inside the fenced area with clearly looking like marks for like horns and stuff. There, the creatures. There are even a couple of like fallen antlers, like on the sides of the trees there, and you can see some sort of weird like symbol carvings on the trees, and behind it's like 30, 40, 50 meters across, built with very thick logs and a very heavy fence with some sort of mechanism that opens it, because this small gnome man would there's no way he could lift anything up inside here. But he goes to the fence and there's this small metal thingamajig and pushes a couple of buttons and the gate goes like...
Would we recognize the carvings?
Roll for nature or arcana.
10.
13.
You get the feeling that they're like blessing / good good luck charms of some sort. But that's pretty much all you know. And you get inside the fenced area, and the elks and the couple of elks and horses inside are a little bit weirded out that some bigger people came inside, and they're like drawn back from you, and they're like, the gnome man is like, wait here, I'm gonna get the bull. I think I can get him out. Hopefully. If you guys hear me screaming, come to that way. There's a big, thick stable. I might be there, or I might be like outside, or I might be in both. Who knows? We'll see.
So, we are riding horseback individually, or are we using the cart with the bull?
I would recommend that we ride individually. The cart might break, and also, like Alil said, that they are going to take the cart as a
Collateral.
collateral
And like,
for the animals.
even though it's a very thick, very heavy cart, and it has if you could get sleds underneath, then it might work. But if you get caught in snow, the cart won't move.
We still have summer tires on.
Yeah. And well, you guys are inside the fence area, and then you hear like shouting in Sylvan and a couple of words which probably are swear words, but they don't sound so serious because Sylvan is a very fluid, a very flowing language. Like it's like some languages that sound just too soft and too flowing to have good curse words unless you get creative, but there are definitely swears in there. And then you hear sort of low growling, like not from a carnivore, but from a moose sort of
Like a
sound.
deep bellow almost.
Yeah, the bellow is a better word actually. And then you hear, while waiting, you hear like heavy hooved steps coming outside, and the gnome man had taken a long scythe-like weapon with no like sharp edges. Just actually, it's more of a two-headed scythe dealy with like no edges, just like a hook thing. And he's hooked the creatures behind its horns and just drawing it. And the creature, this old bull, is, you take a goat and make it like into the size of a big horse and make it as ugly as sin.
So it's like a bull goat crossbreed
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah, basically.
Interesting.
And the small freaking 40-50 kilo gnome looks very sad with a like 6-7, it's almost 1,000 kilo like goat thing, which is drawing up. But it seems to react to the words said in Sylvan. So the goat is like, fine, and starts stepping towards you guys. And the gnome uses the hook thing to launch himself up like over the face and into like a sitting position on the back of the goat.
Headbutt time.
Rhaega will approach the.
Although the creature doesn't have like goats have like round horns. This has very long like antelope, long thick, straight antelope like horns.
Do we have any idea what this thing is?
Roll for
Yeah, I also.
nature or arcana.
18. Nope.
19.
Yeah.
Jay has no idea.
So, yeah. So, I mean, you do know that some creatures are just bred for size to be beasts of burden, and this one is just a very. I mean, it is either a weird, a thickly furred bull, like the normal bull with just like a lot of fur, or some weird magical goat hybrid thing. You do know that in the deeper forests in Lumainvoir, there are like, it's said that there are like fey creatures and weird magical weird nature magics which affect the creatures around it. And this creature looks very, very old and very stubborn, but like it moves when told, and looks very strong. So, and then the gnome man rides it towards you, and it's like he barks orders in Sylvan to the creature, and the creature's like you get the feeling that it's wrestling for control, but it really doesn't, like, it's doing it just for the kicks of it.
Rhaega just looks it straight in the eyes.
Roll for insight or animal handling.
I'm bored.
21.
You get the feeling it doesn't like to be challenged by a random thing. You see it like drawing breath and like,
and I will.
and the gnome whacks it on the head with a wooden staff thing.
No hasty movements. And Rhaega will just keep looking at it and get close so that the foreheads touch. And
What?
this is interesting to hear because Rhaega has a very calm voice, but you just hear like a growl deep within from Rhaega.
Roll for intimidation.
Jake is taking a couple of steps back.
Yeah.
16.
Yeah.
I don't have any bosses.
Even though Rhaega 16, that's nice. Even though Rhaega is the smaller one by like 4 times over, you can still feel the goat creature being like, okay. Like the color and the shape of the like the big, almost demon-blooded Goliath person in front of it is like, okay. The goat just like they butt foreheads, and the goat backs off. And the gnome on the back is like, by the powers in the first, what the? Okay. So this was clearly a good call. So because I think you can handle this asshole.
It is not the first time I have quite literally butted heads with a bull. So.
Just, where are you from, dude?
Up north, Calderayur.
Wait, isn't that like in
Nevermore.
like Arkenhold?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
That explains a lot of like everything. Whoa. Haven't seen your kind in like a while.
We are quite a solitary folk, yes.
Yeah, I mean, we were like, my father and me were, when I was a kid, we were up there getting some Lynx Heroes because the breed is there is excellent. And I've seen some. Hopefully, you don't need to go back there because it's haunted us. Anyways, I mean, if like to each his own, I suppose.
Well, unfortunately, I am with these people for a reason.
Yeah. I'm not gonna even ask. You have a.
We're not going to have a problem with, traveling further north, are we?
As I said, you have me for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think so because you guys look like you have like more than meets the eye, and plus that him, them, whatever. And then if you just like, if there's like a thick tree or something you need to get through, you can just like tell the old bull to go through there. Or then he says a phrase in Sylvan, and then the ghost lowers its head and starts like trampling the earth, and the gnome quickly taps it and says a couple of words, and the goat is like, "What?" Fine. And then goes to the gnome jumps down and gives the big goat creature some food.
It seems that it responds to Sylvan. Unfortunately, I do not know
Yeah,
this
I will.
language.
I mean, it's the best. I mean, because these creatures have been bred in the forest, it's the best language to give him some basic orders. So I'll teach you the words, and you just need to pronounce them. And then cut a montage of the party learning like the basic, like 5 commands or something similar to like forwards, stop, right, left, pause, charge, like basic commands for commanding. You get you two and Hasguruda get elks, like very thickly built winter furry elks, and Rhaega gets the old bull. And the elks are a lot softer. They're like, okay, so these people know the right words and they give us food. And you get you get pouches with like assorted animal foods. The elks, you look at the pouches with the food for the elks, they look like dried up berries and roots and things.
So do they have like side saddle
Yeah.
bags?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get a couple of saddlebags just for snacks for the animals for
I will get the
enforcing.
I will get the artifact box on the back, like
Yeah.
right against my back on
Yeah.
the bull.
Yeah.
Just tie it down real quick,
Yeah.
dude.
Are the moose named?
Not yet. You can name him if you want.
I'll name my moose Gertrude.
Technically a big elk, but sure.
Well, yeah.
I'd like to think that the old bull is just called Boss Man.
Yeah.
Because you can give really weird names to animals.
Yeah. Well, the beastmaster Kneecap Slovobard has he's he told that he's called Kneecap Slovobar, and he calls the creature the old bull because that's a good name for a creature like this.
Mm-hmm. The old man.
Yeah, and he was also when he's training you, he's just like, actually, it's kind of good to get some space in here because I heard there's a new herd of Blixeros in the woods, and I might get a couple of more for myself. And you can see the small Blixero cub just like running around and coming from time to time to Slovobard for just like a boop, and then just walks off. And there's like very, very thick, so almost reed-like tufts of high grasses in the fenced up areas, and there's a lot of hay and similar plants for the animals to eat.
I would like to the next time.
And also when there's like any smaller animal comes closer to the fenced area, the small Blixeros immediately like wants to go outside and hunt because Blixeros are omnivores.
Yeah, when there's a moment that the baby Blixeros is kind of like coming towards the group, Rhaega will get down on the ground and be like, kind of like goaded to towards
Roll for
them.
animal handling.
Let's see if I roll anything good. It's where's my order? 16.
16 is decent. I mean, it's
Come, butthead. It's gonna hurt, but
yeah. So the creature, like, you're big and you have big horns, and you go to this sort of head-butting. The creature is like, oh, so if it stops, the head goes a little sideways, and then it charges. it's very small, but still, because it's such a thick animal, it weighs like almost 20-30 kilos already. And then it charges you, and even though its horn, its first horn is a very short snub, it still hits you straight in the face.
Or like I try to like hit the hard part of the forehead so it doesn't like hurt as much.
Yeah, but yeah, still
Yeah.
hits your head for
5 brain damage.
8 points. 8 points of bludgeoning, just because, like, I mean, it is a reinforced head collides with a reinforced head, but it does have the horn.
Yeah.
So it gives it more hitting power than you thought.
Yeah. Like I'm just like.
Oh, by the way, I named my elk, moose, whatever, Roach.
Of course.
Smooth, dude.
Yeah. Rhaega just gets up and like, like ow a little bit, but gives like a
Idiot.
gives like very 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 heavy pats to the.
Now the small gnome man walks to your side and whacks you into the wrist. Bad boy! Don't fight with. I just got him to settle down. These creatures are highly competitive by nature, and do you know how hard it is not to get these creatures? I mean, he wants to fight like everything. Because he feels he's the elf, and you will be the elf. Yes, you will. He just like almost takes the. If there was like extra skin in the sides of the creature, he would be like he takes the creature by its head and just like sets his head very gently towards the horn and like starts babbling at it in Sylvan, like chill, and then takes some food. Like you saw the same creature, the same thing with the old bull as with the blitz arrow. The like snacks are assorted bits and pieces. You see meat, you see insects, you see berries and roots and like bark and like stuff. And the blitzer gets some grub and he's like nom, happy.
Just providing some enrichment there. You are a beastmaster, so I will not lecture you, but at least in the north we know that keeping them calm is a thing, but also it is good for them.
We do not enrage the creatures when other creatures are trying to train.
He wasn't enraged. This was an educational experience. It's important for them to learn that sometimes other people have thicker skulls.
It's the general rule of the world. There's always a bigger guy.
But yes, I apologize.
It's fine.
But he is growing up quite strong. He left quite a mark on me.
Yeah, I'm not doubting it. He's gonna be the biggest boy. Yes.
Rhaega's got like a concussion going on.
Pretty much.
I mean, yeah, pretty much. But
Gonna have a headache in a few hours.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be a very mild concussion, so we'll pass. But yeah. So yeah, you get the elks, and
The wool.
Hasgaruda is kind of skeptical because she's not used to riding anything except like
Horses.
yeah. And you can see this sort of when she looks at the elk and feeds the elk, and it's like, I haven't ridden anything since that. And then again, she goes all PTSD in the face and just like feeds the elk, and her eyes just glaze over, and she goes like fades out again just a little bit. But luckily, the beastmaster did his job well. So there was one of the elks seemed a lot like softer than the others, and like very gentle and very kind. And Hasgaruda got the kindest of the elks.
Mm. Well, thank you very kindly, beastmaster.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, you did a deal with Longalel, and I trust her to do the right judgment and bring them back. That's all we ask.
Yep.
Well, thank you.
Good luck. Especially up north.
Yeah. Thank you. While heading out, do we have anything else for today?
Not really. I would say that
I don't think so.
we head back inside.
We leave first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
How about you, Haskura? Do you have anything else in here?
I'm
to do?
fine. I'm just gonna get refills and things, and then I'm fine.
So, Rhaega, would you say there, from up north here, should we be vigilant of any specific dangers or?
Probably like in the more closer you get to the ever ice. I mean, most of the northern province is covered in a never melting ice because it's so cold and the cold winters.
So be careful of the cold bites.
Yeah, probably. I mean, as long as you don't get north from Sarngard, the biggest problem probably will be weather.
Yeah. Thankfully, it is only started of the winter, so some of the snow melts during springtime, so there is not too much snow just yet, but there will be far more than here.
Are we talking the amount of snow that Almond would actually just sink in the snow?
That's why the elk is.
Yeah.
That's why I have to have one.
Maybe
You see this one head going whoop, boom,
Haskuda,
boom on the snow.
Haskuda probably will sink, but Almond is just tall enough to just like almost to
Can
like
swim
chest.
in the fire.
Yeah.
All right.
so if you have any more purchases to make with warm clothing or anything, do it now. I have actually, because we no longer have the carriage with us. Do any of you have tents?
I think
your-
I do. This is a thing I should know. Give me a second.
Because while I do have a tent for two people, I'm big enough to fill it quite well myself, and having someone else there would be quite a cozy night.
I have a mess kit, which is an adventuring gear.
If you have a pack, it doesn't have a tent that comes with it. You have
Yeah.
to buy it separately.
Yeah. So you guys do need tents and winter gear.
Yeah, like if you two are, I don't know if Jay and Almond would be comfortable sharing a tent, but it would be warmer for you two, because a tent can house two people.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. Well, in that case, we should most definitely go search for a tent.
I would.
Construct makeshift shelter.
Yes, you can.
Yes.
If there's wood
Yeah.
nearby.
Yeah.
You can use branches and basically the branches of evergreen trees as.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if you're close to the forest, then yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But there are like, after you leave Falleaf Treetops, there might be some spots, and with like hillsides and like smaller forests, then yeah, it's definitely possible.
It is also possible if there is like stone outcroppings, you can find a spot where wind is like coming from the other direction.
There are some hilly areas just north of like the Falleaf Treetops, but yeah.
Worry not. I was brought on this again, as I said. I am here for a reason.
Yeah.
But I most definitely need a. I don't think my leather gear is the best one for the winter, so.
Yes. I will share my tent with Haskud as we have before. She's small enough to.
Yeah, that's fine. But just just as a reminder, guys, that just if we absolutely don't need to, let's not go to the mountain, inside the mountains, because they're part of the crater wall, and there's weird stuff in the crater wall. Snap. Crater wall. Yes.
It's a hard word.
Pronunciation.
Enunciation.
Yes. Creatures.
That's like
in
saying
creation.
you're afraid of ghosts.
If it were only ghosts, my friend. If it were only ghosts.
got me there. Like, I'll roll my eyes a bit and head to go fetch my jacket.
I'm assuming with your level of experience you have dealt with the vapor before.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because a part of the crater wall might have sources of vapor and...
Well, there's ways to deal with it.
Yeah. You the common knowledge about vapor is it's a magical residue that comes out in specific spots from the central crater, and it's unstable as it's very unstable and might do weird stuff with,
Cool.
for example, flesh.
Nice.
So fun stuff. So yeah, you get your riding animals and you get your winter gear, and then you head up north.
Well,
long...
not yet. We're gonna go back to the center, find a place to buy some tents.
Yeah.
Warm clothing.
Just
Yeah.
you get your gear in check, and then you start making preparations to leave Falleaf Treetops up north, and I think that's a decent place to stop.
Yeah.
Today's session.
Ready to adventure.
Yes.
Yay.
Hopefully you all had fun. See you guys in a week with the other group and with these guys in 2 weeks. We do put all the videos up on our YouTube channel, so sub us up there. If you're into D&D and just have stumbled on this channel, follow us here. We make D&D streams every week on Thursdays. We have some videos, like I said, on our YouTube, and some extra pictures of the characters and of the setting on our Facebook page. And then there's a couple of surprise things I'm cooking up, but I'm gonna tell you guys about later. Have fun, stay safe, stay vigilant, and see you in a week.
Bye bye.
See you later.